because I like it to feel natural.
Okay, no problem. All right, so we're going live, and also we'll get it like uploaded to the podcast format. So right now we're live. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, is the live just audio only, or is it video?
It's
Or
video.
because I know that you do audio.
Yep,
Okay.
it's video too, so they can see us live right now. And I'm going to do a quick intro. So, welcome to the REmarketing Podcast. My name is Sean Lewis. I am your host for today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how our podcast works. So, the REmarketing Podcast is where we talk marketing, tech, business, and leadership, and we talk for real estate agents, real estate investors, and real estate entrepreneurs. Our two purposes: one, to spotlight you, Joscilynn, your business, your service, or your product in a way that provides value to you, including market exposure and content creation. Number two, to educate and inform our audience and listeners. That being said, I'm going to introduce our speaker, right? So, Joscilynn, you're going to kill me because I got to get this right. Joscilynn Stachowiak is the founder of Game Changer Academy, an online fitness academy specifically individualized and tailored for realtors and high-level business professionals. She is a personal coach with 10 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. Joscilynn has a passion for helping others achieve their goals and reach their highest potential. Joscilynn, welcome to the podcast. And I would like to start off with, hey, tell us a little bit about your story, your background.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for reaching out. I'm so honored to be here. A little bit about me. Gosh, fitness has been my life. So, I grew up, in a very sports oriented family. So soccer was my sport, right? And I actually had intended to go all the way with soccer. That's all I knew. I even played in Italy. It was crazy. But out of nowhere, I ended up getting a tumor in my knee. So kind of pulled me out of playing sports or bullies on a professional level. So if anybody has ever been involved in sports, they know that it's more than just playing the sport. It's a whole lifestyle. Your friends are doing it. Your coaches are telling you what to do, what to eat. There's so much guidance there. So pretty much being ripped out of that, I had to figure it out all on my own. And it was really difficult because at the same time, I just started entering into college. And if anybody knows how stressful that could be, throw that on top of it. And yeah, it was not a good time for me. I kind of hit a very low point with my own fitness. I gained weight and I just could not, for the life of me, throughout the 4 years of college, figure it out. I mean, I was getting a degree in exercise science, but for some reason I could not implement it for myself. I felt like a fraud. I felt horrible. So it wasn't, they say hindsight is 2020. It wasn't till after I graduated I realized the real problem was actually my mindset, because I wasn't taking care of my mindset. It all follows. The body, the mind is all connected. So if you don't have a healthy mindset, it's hard to have a healthy body, and vice versa. Graduated college, and I still didn't know what I was going to do with my life. So I did something crazy and I just up and moved to South America. I didn't even speak Spanish, nothing. And I discovered that I had such a passion for helping others. I love doing it. So can't live in South America forever, right? So I moved back and I just threw myself into doing any kind of community work to help others. But I also still love fitness. That's what I grew up. That's what I always knew. So I tried the whole personal training route, hated it. I know. I felt like I wasn't reaching my full potential because I had so much knowledge from college, from just my life in general, that just watching someone work out wasn't enough. I had to do more. So that's when I created my company now, Game Changer Academy. And I really aim to focus on helping people that are like me. I truly believe that if you try to help everybody, you'll help nobody. But if you try to help that one individual that you can have a profound impact on, you're going to change their life. And that's what I aim to do. So that's a little bit about my story. And I hope it resonates with some of y'all.
Thank you, Joscilynn. I really appreciate that. So with your story, we're going to we're gonna interview you, and we're gonna go into your business, and we want to hear about Game Changer Academy, and how you got here. We met through like a Facebook group for real estate entrepreneurs. So I'm gonna ask you a question, right? What is a common myth about your field or expertise? So tell us the common myth that you hear in your.
Myth or more of like a stigma, thinking that any kind of online coach is the same as like an influencer,
Okay.
and therefore how we got our results, in our fitness, we had to do something else. We had to have gotten like surgery or something like that. It can't be that easy. There's got to be some little trick that we use to figure out fitness, whether it's some special diet or some special workout. But it's really not even that hard. It's pretty simple. It's just staying consistent with it. And I would say that's kind of like the little stigma, is just classing us all together in the same boat, because there's definitely a difference between influencers and someone who actually has a company and focuses on creating transformations for their clients.
Thank you. Great answer. Next question we have for you. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your current business, and how are you tackling it?
Okay. I would say for any kind of entrepreneur, business owner out there, I'm sure y'all can relate, but building those solid routines, because, there's that saying, what got you here won't get you there. Having that schedule that got you to the level of success that you're currently at, and you're like, okay, how do I break through and get to that next level? Now you got to restructure your schedule. You got to figure out what works for you all over again. And that is a big challenge for me right now, just figuring out based upon myself, my energy levels, because everybody's a little bit different, and working around my daily standards, working around, my energy essentially.
Okay. So I'm not sure if you answered already. How are you tackling that issue?
How I'm tackling it is, I will say that I have done a little bit more research into, and this is just something totally off topic probably, but finding my chronotype. And that's pretty much finding your body's natural hormone levels, because everybody's like on a circadian rhythm, in a speak. Their hormone levels go up throughout the day. Everybody's a little bit different. Based upon your hormone levels, you can find, what time of the day you're more mentally awake, what time of the day you're more physically awake, like when you should work out, when you should tackle creative projects, when you should do more like tedious type of work, and just trying to restructure my schedule around that. And it's been a kind of a trial and error, because you can never get it perfect right off the bat. So it's trial and error, and that's kind of how I'm tackling it for myself.
Okay. Could you could you say what that is again? What is it called? A chrono?
A chronotype. You could it's like CRONO and then type.
Okay.
And there's a quiz on it. I think there's a book around it too, and that is a really awesome book, by the way. But by Dr. Oh my goodness, he has a crazier name than me. I don't know, I can't pronounce his last name. Starts with an S also. It's one of those crazy S names.
Okay.
But just Google it on the internet, and you could find it. It's usually one of the first things that pops up. It's like, take your chronotype quiz, and it'll be very detailed and broken down, so you'll be
Okay.
able to
How
see
how
that.
did you learn about discovering your chronotype?
Honestly, so I truly believe that you should always have some sort of coach, some sort of mentor in your life. And my mindset coach led me on to that, because he discovered it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Nice. That's interesting. I would love to learn more about that. So that's really interesting. Next
Hmm.
question I have for you is, what's your favorite productivity hack for entrepreneurs?
Productivity hack for entrepreneurs. I will say, because time is obviously limited. That's always like the biggest thing, is time. Doing tasks that, like, say you have to meal prep, or say you're getting your workout in and you're doing cardio, combine that with another task like educating yourself. I'm addicted to audiobooks. I will literally listen to the same book like 5 times on repeat until like I feel like it's ingrained in my brain. And that's another little tip there too. If you listen to audiobooks, don't just go through the chapters. Uh, go through like 3 chapters at a time and repeat it 3 times until it feels like you're watching like a rerun of your favorite TV show, so that you're just like, oh, I already know what they're gonna say, so that it's sunken into your subconscious. But I'll do that whenever I'm like meal prepping, whenever I am doing cardio at the gym, any kind of like mindless task, cleaning. You knock two birds out with one stone. On my daily walks, that's when I do like respond to emails and messenger, just combining the two.
All right. So I love productivity hacks. Have you ever, I call it the, like, cause I'm at the three now, like the 3x method, right? So with like
Yeah.
audiobooks and videos, you can like bump up the speed. Have you ever done that? Do you do that?
Yes, a little bit, but sometimes they're talking a little too fast. I'm like, okay, you gotta slow it down, slow down. But I do that a lot, and I probably only bump it up to like, um, what is it, like a fourth or a half above. I don't know how someone is able to listen to it faster. Are you someone that can listen to it
Yes,
faster than
and I'm gonna
that?
challenge you to try. If you, it's the same thing like working out. You want to
Hmm.
graduate, right? So I always like to suggest people like they start with YouTube and maybe something like educational that's maybe a little bit long where you don't have to absolutely absorb the information. So I always suggest like go to YouTube and take it up to speed 1.25, right? Do that for the next
Hmm.
few days. Then you do the same thing at 1.5. You do that for the next few days, and then you go to 0.75, then on and on until you get to 2. And then from now on, it's gonna be like this is going to sound normal to you. The 2 times the speed
Yeah.
is like going so fast. So I often challenge people, like even people that I work with, is like, look, get up to 2x because it saves you so much time. And then like, at one point, like now I'm just greedy. I'm like 2, and then I try to get to 4, and it's like it's not working. So I'm stuck at 3x. But it saves a lot of time. So that's a cool productivity hack. And I want to challenge you to get up there, right? You can,
I'm
especially if
gonna
you
do
listen to
that.
audiobooks. Yeah, if you listen to audiobooks,
Hmm.
those things can be long. If you just bump it up gradually, you'll start to be like, okay, this is practical. I can do this. And a lot of people believe that it's going to take much longer and that it's going to be challenging. But if you just diligently apply that, you can be up to like 2 times in less than a week. Less than a week. So
Okay.
like someone like you, like listening to audiobooks, you can go through one of the audiobooks and just bump it up and then just continue and you'll be up to 2x, and it saves you so much time. You get so much time back. I have this friend, he's like, oh my God, 3x is amazing. I save so much time, because it does save you so much time. That's one of my favorite productivity hacks of all time, and almost anybody can get up to it if they try. So I just wanted to share that with
And
you because it's,
yeah, it's so small, and that's a great tip, by the way. It's such a small little thing that someone wouldn't think about, but it's those small little things that make a huge impact. I feel like the tiny little things that no one really thinks about, and that's a really good tip. I'm definitely going to try that.
yeah, I'll
And
challenge
you are
you.
like
I know you
retraining
can
your
do
brain
it.
there.
Yep, I know you can do it because I already see how serious you are. I know you can do it. Next question I have for you. In your opinion, what is the most important personality trait slash strength someone would need to work in your industry and be successful? Like your field, your expertise.
I would I would say to really down to the core have a passion for helping others. What I do obviously is a lucrative business and you can easily make a good amount of money. But if that is the goal, getting into coaching as I am just doing it to make a bunch of money, you are going to get burnt out and you're going to hate it because it's not everything that you see online. You don't see a lot of the hard work that goes into it behind the scenes. So you really do have to have that, passion for actually making a difference in someone's life. And getting over your imposter syndrome, we all get it at some point, shape or form. We think that we're not good enough. We're not the coach that's good enough for these clients, but that they came to you for a reason. You are the coach for them, and continuing to improve upon yourself, because if you have a passion for helping others, you are always wanting to improve upon yourself. How could I be a better leader? How could I be a better coach? How can I make a bigger impact in this individual's life? And that is what is going to really drive you and push you every day.
How, let me ask you, how did you get over your imposter syndrome?
Honestly, I would say just continuing through my routines, even though some days, I didn't think, I just wanted to lay in bed and I felt a little bit depressed. But I do hire mentors for myself, like I said, and they kind of kept me accountable, just like you could hire a coach to keep you accountable. They kept me accountable. They're like, stick to your routines, don't think about it. It's like working out, you know. Some days you're not going to want to work out, you're just unmotivated. But when you take emotion out of it and you just continue and go through the motions on some days, it's literally like you're going through the motions. But you know, the key factors that are important in your business that you just have to go through the motions with, those are the things that add up over time because it's consistency. And then you'll start to see over time, wow, this is actually working. Wow, like I'm actually making a difference. And then you start to believe in yourself a little more and a little more as you continue on because it's kind of like a newbie thing, I'd say. And, you know, most people will get it every now and then. Like I still get it every now and then. But now when I get it, it's not the same when I get it in the beginning. Now when I get it, I have to really ground myself and I do a lot of meditation, things like that. I ground myself and I just you know, realize that those are just false beliefs in your head. They're limiting beliefs and you're just getting in your own way.
All right. So you understand. I think you understand the importance of having a coach or a mentor, having people objective. There are some people that
Mm-hmm.
believe you do not need coaches or they're not necessary to success. And I'm not saying that they're right or wrong. What is your perspective on that?
I would say you don't need it, but you're gonna get there 10 times faster if you do. Um, just think about it this way. All the little hiccups that you go through, all those pitfalls that you go through, and you have to really like, you know, you're stuck down there for a good amount of time. You don't know how to get out of whatever situation you're going through. If you have a mentor, they could completely skip all those because they send you on the right path so that you avoid all the ups and downs of figuring it out on yourself. And that's if you even figure it out on yourself without failing your business in the process. Because we all know the first year, even two, can be the hardest. Um, but having a mentor is really going to just bypass that and also just accelerate the growth of your business. Like what you can get accomplished in 10 years, you can easily get accomplished in 5 years, even probably even less, to be honest, depending on the individual and how much work they're willing to put into it. But um, I just honestly think that's the fastest way to get to where you want to be, whether that be physically or business wise or spiritually. You know, there's a coach for literally everything out there. You could have a coach that teaches you how to golf better, you know, a coach that teaches you how to, like a mindset coach, like I had at some point. And I just love learning. And I feel if I could learn that amount in such a shorter amount of time, then I could learn more and more and more.
Thank you,
Does that
Jocelyn.
make sense?
Yes, it does. So
Okay.
you're going to get me, but so chrono, what is it at again?
C R
How do
no,
you say it?
CRONO,
Chrono.
chronotype.
All right, so chronotype, right? I don't know if this has
Mhm.
anything to do with chronotype, but the question is, at what time of the day do you get your best work done? Does that have anything to do with the chronotype?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
For me, it's first thing in the morning. That's when I accomplish my bigger projects, the stuff, because you know, you have your big projects and then you have your daily tasks. So for me, it's my mind is just awake in the morning and it's ready to do any kind of creative work, any kind of big projects. Because you know, for someone who's like me, at around 4 p.m., your brain is just like, bleh, like I'm not getting any kind of big projects done. I can't think. I'm just tired, you know. But also around 2 p.m. is when my body is awake, and between 2 and 4 is when I like to get a workout in. And around 4 after that is kind of when I start to unwind down and work on more tasks that don't involve too much mental energy.
Okay, awesome. So next question I have for you is,
Mhm.
so I saw like you posted, and I really enjoy your post by the way. You posted a story about how you used to work in like the nightlife. So you can either shape this question around that, or you can give me a different answer, right? So, um, the question is, what occupation other than your own would you like to try?
Okay. well, something I would like to try, and I could tell you a little bit about my job. Like when I was so pretty much I was bartending for like probably 8 years. I bartended my way through college, all the way even past college. I don't know. I like the fast paced environment. I like being challenged every day with something a little bit new, something a little bit different, which is great now because I love it. You know, I'm creating something myself, but something that I would potentially get into, and I think I'm going to get into this eventually, much further down the road, is but nonprofit work, and I really want to get into nonprofit work. Um, what I want to do exactly, I'm not exactly sure yet, but I do know that my need for helping people is going to draw me there eventually one day.
Okay,
So,
I was going to ask you what specifically in
mhm.
nonprofit, but you gave the answer already. So now, next question is,
I can say, I'm sorry, I didn't
go
mean to
ahead.
interrupt. I
No, go
can
ahead.
say that it's going to be something in the realms of public speaking because that's something that I really want to get into. Potentially doing fundraisers towards certain causes where I could host it and speak at the event. That's as far as I know. That's what I've kind of come to realize so far, but the details haven't panned out completely yet.
Okay, no problem. So, have you always wanted to work within the health and fitness industry?
Um, yeah, actually, I can't say I've ever wanted anything else because even at certain points in my life through my college career, I changed majors a few times, but each time I changed it, it was always around there. I first started going for athletic training, then physical therapy, then I was going pre-med for a while, and then I was like, well, let me just get a general, degree behind sports medicine so that when I do decide what I want to do, if I want to go back to college, I could easily do that. But it's always been in the same area. So ever since I was young, I've always been sports and fitness. So
Nice.
it's kind of how
Consistent.
my mind is wired now.
Awesome, awesome. Next question I have for you is, what's one thing about your field of expertise that almost no one agrees with you about?
I would say this is more like 50-50, but
Okay.
I am all about intermittent fasting. I teach intermittent fasting like crazy. That's a big part of Game Changer. And it's more than just, okay, we're going to stop eating and then we're going to start eating at a certain time. I really dive heavily into the science because I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to science around health, fitness, anything in that area. I like it so much. Like I will read the boring like journals, like stuff that you want to pull your hair out to. But I love and I'm fascinated with the science around intermittent fasting and how it interacts or how we can maximize the benefits just based off our biological makeup. And I'm just in love with it. So intermittent fasting, some people they're not for it. They think that there's all these negative effects, but the negative effects come when you're not doing it right.
Okay.
So I'll say.
All right. Next, I have for you what I would like to know is, tell me your favorite client success story.
Ooh, okay, let
And
me think.
let me throw. Can you make it specific? Do you have like a favorite? All right. So let's do two. Do you have a favorite realtor client and then a favorite somebody outside of real estate, or is it like the same? Am I
Mm,
making sense?
yeah, that makes sense. I think they're generally the same because the mindset shift is kind of similar in both, but I did have this female client, and I'll do a female and a male. So I had this female client. She came to me, and she was, you know, working her regular, what like I think she was working. It was a very very beginning. I think she was working like 8 a.m. to like I don't even know how late at night. It seemed like the hours it just never stopped, right? And she couldn't find time for her fitness, and she uh, was very unhappy with her body, and she was in a not so great relationship. So throughout this program, she reached out to me and she's just like, it was very questionable. So I kind of sent her on my mini version just to get her to test the waters because I know that some people are a little hesitant with online coaching. They don't know if they want to invest that much into someone they've never met in person, right? So I kind of give her a little mini version to kind of get her warmed up to it and see how she liked it. She lost like, I think, I don't know, like 8 pounds, about maybe a little bit more. She was really happy with that. And the thing is, she didn't realize that, eating right and feeding her body what she needs based upon what her body needs, because everybody's body is a little bit different, started giving her more energy, and she was able to do more in that amount of time. So much so to where she was like, okay, the 3 weeks is up. I got to sign on. This has got to continue. Like, I want to maximize this energy level that I'm getting now. And, this kind of happiness, like a happier feeling that she's just having all around. Um, because in the beginning, when she came to me, it was kind of a sense of, she was just going through the motions, and she was kind of like not really happy or satisfied with life anymore. Yeah, pretty much. It sounds horrible, but yeah, pretty much. And throughout the course of the program, she ended up losing, where was she at? She was like at 160. She ended up getting down to 135, and she hadn't been that weight since she was in high school.
Wow.
But now it looks better too, because when she was that weight, it was just all she did was cardio and barely ate. And now she was eating more, and she was enjoying her favorite foods, and she had that kind of flexibility. She had a really bad relationship with food. She ended up realizing, and so much so to where she would like essentially starve herself on most days, and then she would overindulge on other days when she finally did have that food again. And her kind of perception around food was like good food and bad food, and we really got to take those labels off, because there is no good food, no bad food, and there is no good days, no bad days, so we taught her how to enjoy what she wants without feeling that feeling of guilt or shame. And weight loss just came so effortless to her after she kind of made that breakthrough with her mindset. And yeah, she reached new goals there. She actually ended up leaving. She had the confidence to leave that relationship too during the process, which was a big thing, because she was kind of codependent upon him at that point. And she found her own independence and was happy. She was actually working less time because she realized she was able to get more done in less time when she wasn't sluggish and tired and just taking forever to get a simple task done. So that was a big thing for her. I did have a male client, I'll say, and this one isn't a realtor, and I'm working with him now, and he's lost, and he just went straight into the program. He's like, I've been following you for a while. I like what I'm seeing. Like, I just want to do this, And he had really bad back problems. He worked in the automotive industry. So he had bad back problems, on his feet all day. And he ended up losing so far 50 pounds within 4 months. And now he just graduated to Evolve, where we're going to start teaching him about intermittent fasting. And we're going to get his body all shredded for the summer. I'm really excited. If y'all aren't following me on Facebook, follow his journey, because I post about him all the time. He's made some serious progress, but he hasn't been that even close to that weight. He doesn't even know the last time he's been close to that weight. He was at, I think, 270 almost. So he lost a good amount of weight, and back problems gone, all those posture problems, those aches and pains gone. He actually had a pretty bad insomnia too, that we come to realize. And we started working on his sleep, getting better quality sleep. He was getting like 4 hours of sleep, y'all. Like, it was pretty bad. And he was drinking a lot too, on top of that, which affects your quality of sleep. So now he's getting a solid 7 hours. We're working on 8 every single night. Doesn't wake up throughout the night. If anything, he'll wake up once every couple nights. But now he wakes up so energized in the morning. He'll like message me. He's like, I feel great. All these exclamation points. Just how amazing he feels just first thing in the morning. And that is a big thing. Like, when you're unhealthy and you wake up in the morning, you kind of like take a while to get out of bed. You're sluggish. But when you're on it, you're feeding your body right. You're working out the way you're supposed to, getting the sleep, getting the recovery. You wake up like out of bed, like, like Snow White in the morning with the birds flying. You just feel like you're in a movie. It feels amazing. But um, I just love seeing all those little wins when they tell me along their journey, like this happened today and I feel awesome. I never knew that I could get to this before. Or someone told me like, wow, I lost weight in my feet and I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like, I guess so.
That's awesome. It let me ask you something, because like I've been around, I think, real estate for 6, 7 years now, and I find
hmm
that real estate entrepreneurs can be quite difficult sometimes. Is this yours? Do you have a similar experience, or talk about what I just said?
About them being difficult, like
Yes,
like
because
as
they're like used to doing things their way, and I'm gonna do this. So, what's your experience been?
oh, I set the tone in the beginning,
Okay.
so it's usually pretty straightforward.
You
I'm
pro. You rule
like,
with the iron fist.
yeah. What I do is extremely structured, so there isn't really any kind of wiggle room. It's like if you do what is asked of you, you're gonna get to where you're gonna get to, and you just have to do it. Um, Now, when it comes to workouts and everything like that, I do have an online app. So it kind of makes things easy. They open up their app, they have their workout for the day. I'm like, complete this sometime today. So they get it done whenever is convenient for them. So that kind of works around their schedule so that they got some flexibility there to make it, fit their schedule however they want. So it's not like I'm telling them you have to work out at this certain time every single day. Now, when it comes to the nutrition, that's probably like the hardest part for everybody is nutrition, but having someone that holds you accountable every day, I'll say definitely helps because you got to we do check-ins every single morning. So if if they're slacking, I'm going to grill them the next morning and then they don't like that. So um I wouldn't say it's too difficult. I actually prefer it just because they work very well in structured environments. And what I do is extremely structured and they're self motivated. And obviously, I can't be there to hold your hand through the workout or make you eat the food. So you have to have some sort of motivation for yourself there. So, just someone who can do that and follow a detailed plan that's like, hey, this is how you get from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time possible in a healthy way. They just follow it.
Awesome. Appreciate that. I would love to have you back in the future and you can give us like a demo or show us some of how your program and your operation works. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to do that. And if y'all end up finding me on social media on Facebook, it's just my first and my last name. But I do tons of great resources out there to show you how it works. Every so often, I even hold master classes over certain processes within my company. I actually am going to be doing another one here in probably the next 14 days and I haven't done one in a couple months, but that one I try to focus more on the nutrition side because that's where everybody kind of like has the hardest time. And it's like makes the biggest difference too. It's 80%. So it's like, yeah, we can work out, but the nutrition, like that's the hard part. So just know that whenever I do any kind of nutritional master classes, they're going to be focused around this particular type of lifestyle, around things like meal prepping and intermittent fasting and a few other little tiny details as well, but things that really fit for that type of individual that because I'm trying to help that person.
So in my experience, there's like I guess a stigma or maybe it's correct about diets. They say diets don't work. What is your perspective on that?
Oh, yeah, diets don't work. I definitely don't think they do because honestly, I just hate the word diet because the diet is something you do for a certain amount of time and then you're done. It needs to be a lifestyle. And another thing with diets is no matter what it is, it's about restriction. And I'm very anti restriction. To make something sustainable and enjoyable, you need to not restrict yourself, not tell yourself that there's any particular food that you cannot have. Because my favorite food is pizza. And if someone told me I can't have pizza ever again, I'm like, no, I love pizza. But yeah, any kind of diet out there, it's all about eliminating carbs or eliminating whatever, like your favorite foods, you no longer could have pizza ever again to be healthy. And that's just not true. Obviously, if you have health conditions like you're diabetic or something like that, that's different than a diet. When I think of diets, I think of these little fab diets out there. And, certain things like keto, they work for certain people. But it is hard. It's all about sustainability and finding something that you enjoy that you could see yourself doing forever. So if there's a diet you're about to join or you're thinking about doing, ask yourself, can you do this for the rest of your life? And if not, then you need to find a way to not restrict yourself and maybe even seek help from a professional, not just some downloadable nutrition plan off the internet that you found, because that isn't tailored for you based around your likes, dislikes, and your body types.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to ask next. I was going to ask if you offered consultations.
Yeah, I do. So, and I wish I had a good link I could just give you right now, but um, I will say on my social media page on my bio, I have my link in there for a free one-on-one evaluation with me. And I'll dig deep and I'll ask you some serious questions and just be prepared. Like if you talk to me, like I like to dig in deep and to the problem. So, I might talk about your childhood and stuff like that because it's all important to know, because ultimately it comes down to your relationship with food. And that's the big thing with the mindset. And to find that out, I gotta ask you questions that no one has asked you before. But those are questions that you need to know the answer to. So yes, to answer your question, I do that.
Appreciate that. So we'll get your link and we'll get that posted in the show notes. But I
Okay.
appreciate talking to you today because there's like conflicting information, right? And I'm not I don't think I'm overweight, right? And I've always like I love food. I like to eat what I like to eat, right? And I'm very particular about certain things, but sometimes you hear people say, "No, you can't like food. You're not supposed to do." And I'm like, "I've been liking food all this time. Why is it such a bad thing?" So, I'm grateful to hear you say that. We just have to make sure we're disciplined and careful and structured in how we kind of eat the food. I'm not a health professional like you, but you know, I love food. I really enjoy food. That's one of
I
my
love
favorite things to
food.
do. I like to eat certain things. I enjoy it, right? And I think that like you talk
Mhm.
about, like there's a lot of airy fairy stuff out there, but intent behind food, I think it matters. And because I like to enjoy my food and because I'm grateful and appreciative of that food, I think, I don't blow up into some balloon or something like that. So yeah, it's nice to hear you
Yeah.
say that we don't have to restrict ourselves and we don't have to hate food. Like you can enjoy food.
Yes, absolutely. Because when it comes down to it, the times that you really, overindulge are times that you're stressful, you don't have good coping mechanisms, something emotional just happened. It's other things that don't even have anything to do with food that cause us to look at it negatively in a sense. So really just realizing that food is good. I love food too. I love cookies. I eat all of that. I love pastries, cakes, all that. I eat that too. But just knowing that you don't have to eat the entire cake, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
You can always come back to it whenever you want. And that's something I tell my clients too. I'm like, whenever, you're at a party even and there's a bunch of bad foods, just know that the food isn't going anywhere. You don't gotta stuff your face. You can always come back to it, and it's good. Enjoy yourself. Don't restrict yourself. Don't feel guilty about it either.
Thank you, Jocelyn. And now I want to ask you a couple of personal questions, right? Questions about Jocelyn so we can get to know you a little bit
Oh
better.
no, I'm
Right.
just
So,
kidding.
question, if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
I would say I just want to be remembered for really making such a positive impact in the world, whether that be big or small, through my clients or through what I want to eventually do one day, getting into nonprofit. But honestly, if I'm not remembered and I still make that impact in the world, I'm perfectly fine with that too.
All right, next. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Ooh, okay. It would be to relax, quit being a perfectionist, uh, quit stressing about my body all the time. Just to know that it just be anything, everything that I really taught myself mentally that has really helped me now. And because I was really bad, I had body dysmorphia. I was even bulimic at a point too.
Wait. What is that? What does that mean?
What?
Body
Which
dysmorphia?
Oh, body dysmorphia, when
Yes.
you know, look fine, but you see something else in the mirror. Like anorexia could be like looked at almost as like body, like extreme body dysmorphia in a sense. Like, you see these fitness people out there and they're working out crazy and they're like addicted to the gym and they're there seven days a week to a point to where it's unhealthy. It's because they're looking at themselves, and even though we see that that person's like fit and everything, they don't see it. Like they still see like that skinny person or that overweight person, like they're not there yet. So it's yeah, body dysmorphia. So I had a little bit of that because everybody told me, they're like, oh, you look great, like, but in my mind I was like, wow, she is like, because I was a soccer player all my life, so I had like abs and everything. I didn't have that anymore, and I just saw like this fat woman looking at me. It was horrible. I hated myself. So it would really be to, um, work on loving myself. Read a lot of self-help books. I would tell myself to do that, and just to not stress, not to overindulge and eat when I'm stressful. To use healthier sorry, practices when dealing with stress, because I was in college at the time taking 18 hours, so I think a lot of it was stress eating as well. So there are healthy practices to do when you're stressed out that don't turn to food, and I was never taught that, so I always turn to food.
How did you overcome that, like that mindset? Like if you could give us one thing that really, I know it's not one thing, it's a bunch of little things, but if you could give us like one
Mm-hmm.
major thing, what would it be?
How I overcame that mindset, I would say, oh, a major thing, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is I completely changed the people I hung out with. It sounds horrible, but I stopped hanging around anybody that I just didn't like want to be like, essentially, because I hung around a lot of people since I worked in the bar industry a lot that went out to drink, and they were overweight and they just wanted to party. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take myself out of that and only hang around entrepreneurs that want to do nothing but better themselves. And it's almost like that energy just sucked me in, and I just fed off of it and just made me want to do more and be better. And when you hang around people, there's an energy that they give off, and when you're hanging around people that you aspire to be like, it's like when you accomplish these tasks and goals that you've always wanted to do, it feels natural, it doesn't feel forced.
Awesome.
So I would say just change your circle.
Awesome. Next, so we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to hear more detail. What's your morning routine like?
Oh, my morning routine. Okay, so not everybody has to do something as crazy as mine, because I do a pretty long one, but it's mostly because I meditate for a long time. But pretty much, I wake up, and if I'm fasting, then I have a special drink that I have first thing in the morning. It's water with apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and pink salt. So I drink that first thing in the morning. Then I go make my coffee, a black coffee, and I sip that throughout the morning. And then sometimes if I want to work out in the morning, that's when I work out, like after I have my caffeine. If not, then I will meditate after I have my coffee. And that could be anywhere from depending on how badly I need to meditate. That could be all the way up to an hour. And that's what makes my morning routine long. And then after I meditate, then I do journaling work. And that really is important. Sometimes I forget to do that, and it makes a huge impact in my week. So journaling is super, super important. And what I do for journaling is it takes me 15, well, like 11 or 12 minutes, because I set a timer for 1 minute. And then within that 1 minute timer, I write down my top 10 goals, or, as fast as I can, because what happens when you do that is, you're retraining your brain subconsciously to seek out paths, to open doors, to reach those goals. Because if you can't, just list off your top 10 goals right now without looking for them written down somewhere, then how are you supposed to just naturally seek the path towards them? So you need to retrain your subconscious. So I do that. And then after that, I set a 5-minute timer, and I do some declarations like I am, I have, help getting rid of limiting beliefs that I have within myself. And then I do another timer for 5 minutes, and then I do gratitude. And then that helps me become grateful for what I have and instill like deeper happiness as well with your life. So I do that. And then that pretty much wraps up my morning routine. Oh, and then I take my dog for a walk. And that's it.
Oh, wow, awesome. That's why you in such
Mm.
great shape. You look so good. That's a lot going on. You doing the mindset stuff, routines. That's a lot. So people
It
underestimate how much
is.
work it can take sometimes. And it's not even about the amount of work, but consistency. So
Hmm.
yeah, you look great. You do good work. So next,
Thank you.
we
I
want to get
appreciate that.
to the closing table, right? So we're in real estate. We call it the closing table when it's time to close a deal.
Mhm.
So this is the closing table. We're going to ask you some final questions, then we can like wrap it up. So first question I have for you:
Okay.
what are 3 books that you recommend to the audience and why?
Number one book, it's my most favorite book, is The Happiness Advantage by Sean Inker. Um, like I said, I'm a nerd, so I like science, and he graduated from Harvard, top 1% of his class. He pretty much uses positive psychology to show you how you could become more successful, make more money in your career as an entrepreneur in any aspect of life by just being happier and teaching you how to instill happiness in yourself and others. So that one for sure. Another one would probably be that chronotype that I was talking about. That's a good
Okay,
book too. I wish I remembered his name. I can't.
we'll find
The
it and put it in the
the
show
crazy
notes.
names. Yeah. The chronotype, just because it's so important to learn that about your body, especially if you are an entrepreneur by any means, because um, just maximizing on your energy levels is a great way to improve productivity too. And then the third one would be, and I'm debating between this one. It might be another book by Sean Anker, actually. It's Before Happiness. That one is a really good one, and um, that one is more about building like a solid team. So if you're at that level to where you're building a solid team, that's a good one to do, like more of a CEO style, I guess, book.
Okay, you got one more? You can give us one more.
Okay. That sounds more minor because I'm thinking more around the area of health and fitness.
Okay.
But honestly, this is kind of what started my path to really understanding, nutrition and everything. But it's that Whole 30 book. And just doing that. I wouldn't do that for like a lifestyle, but I would do that for the 30 days because you learn so much about your body and how it reacts to different foods that you eat. Different sensitivities. The analogy that they use in the book, I believe, was if you look at food in this way. So, like, let's say you move into a new house and there's like a cedar tree out there, and every morning you wake up and you're all congested and you feel like crap. And then over time, though, you forget that that's the reason why you feel badly, and it just becomes your new normal and you're just used to it. But then you go on vacation, let's say you go up in the mountains of Colorado and the air is clean, and you wake up and you feel amazing, like you have all this energy. uh, then you realize, wow, it's that cedar tree that was making me feel this way. It takes that approach with food. So, all food that has been known to cause inflammation in the body, you completely eliminate it for 30 days and then you bring it back in a controlled setting week by week to see how your body reacts to it. I'll tell you, the first time I had dairy, when I came back, my stomach literally went into the most painful cramps I've ever experienced. Like, I was in a ball for a good like hour and I couldn't even like extend myself because it just hurt so bad. So I don't have dairy anymore because of that. So it's like me learning that my body just really does not like dairy. Everything else completely fine, like grains, all of that. But it's a great tool to use to learn about yourself
Okay. And
because everybody's a little bit different.
could you repeat the name of it one more time?
Whole30,
Whole 30.
WHOLE, and then 30.
Thank you. Next
Yeah.
question is, what's one question you wish I'd asked you, and how would you have answered?
Let me think. Well, now ooh, we went pretty deep here. Let's see. I wish you had asked me. I'm a little stumped here
All good.
because we talked about my journey. I was gonna be like, well, ask me about my journey, but then
Okay.
I kind of gave you a pretty good spiel about my
All good.
journey.
So I'm going to try
You
to
were a
stump you
great host.
2 more times, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. So
Mhm.
the first one is, how can someone bring immediate value to you and your business? And you have to answer. You can't say you stumped me. You got to give us a way to add immediate value to you.
Okay. Find me on social media and share one of my posts. How about that?
Okay.
Share a post that resonates with you because obviously, um, no, I do put some thought behind what I say in my post. There's a story and there's a message always. So, find something that you really feel resonates with you and share that. And if not, just put a comment about what resonated with you. I just love to hear your kind of feedback.
Okay, so how about this, right? I'll do the social media post. I'll share it to my Facebook group. But that post, you have a lot of great posts, and we have a newsletter that we send out, like physically. You'll get a copy
Mhm.
because I think you requested one of the books. I'm going to take one of your
Yeah.
posts, one of your awesome posts, and put it in the newsletter. How about that? And we can put some advertising in there for you. You okay with that?
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do like a little health
No,
section
not
or
okay with
something.
that. Just
Ah,
kidding.
so that's one. I'll
I
share your
hate free
post on social media,
advertising.
but I'll also grab one of your nice posts and put it inside of our newsletter, and I'll send it to you so you can see it and everything like that, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Now next, very similar question, but this time it's long-term value. How can someone bring you long-term value?
Long-term value, I would say to honestly just follow me and interact with and engage with my content. Um, Whenever you see anything that speaks to you, just because I am very active with all of my followers. If you write something, I read everything you write. So if you write a comment, I'm going to read it, I'm going to respond to it. You can even talk to me. I'm very open. Like, I don't bite. I'm not going to try and shove any kind of sales down your throat if that's not what you're looking for. If you want to just reach out to me for advice on anything, I'm an open book. I love to advise you the best I can. Um, I don't know. I just want to help. I'm
Awesome.
here to serve. So that's my
Awesome.
main purpose.
So now I'm going to ask you this. You ever thought about becoming a real estate investor or real estate agent yourself, like doing this, like
Investing, yes. I
investing
don't
for
think I'd be
sure?
the agent though.
No agent? Why not?
So, um, honestly, from what I see, it is a lot of work,
It can be.
and I'm already I'm already doing a lot of work as it is, and I honestly couldn't see myself doing that also on top of it. I'm just like,
Okay.
until I get into more of a CEO role and my team is able to take full reins of everything, and then I'm like, okay, now I could go explore other avenues. But definitely the investing has interest to me, and I believe I'm not sure which group that you followed me from, but I know there is a real estate investing group that I'm heavily involved with, and I'm actually learning about real estate investing there as well.
Awesome.
So,
We run like several events and groups ourselves. I'll
mhm.
tell you more about those like offline. But here's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I want you to consider, right? And this is like it's because it's open opportunity for me. Like, so I'm licensed, right? But I don't
Mhm.
want to be the typical realtor. I got my license to contribute to me being a real estate investor, right? But I also, when I was doing that, I learned marketing and tech. Those are my skills, right? And getting a license allows me to be in rooms with other licensed professionals and offer them
Mhm.
other services. So you understand where I'm going with this? Like, you have a license, maybe you don't be a full-time realtor or a
Mhm.
real estate agent or something like that, but having that license could give you more clientele because you can be in those rooms more and offer those services. So just an idea to think about, just something to
Okay.
think about. You might not want to, you might
That's a
absolutely
good
not,
tip.
but yeah, that's a, it can get you in rooms. You might never do a transaction ever. Like, there are some people that
Mhm.
never do anything, no transactions, and they still have their license because it affords them other opportunities such as investing or networking and meeting certain people. So just a little something to
Mhm.
give you. Now, this was a great, I think this was our longest one yet, and it was fun. So the next question, the final question that I have for you is, where can listeners find out more about you online?
Okay, so now I'll give you all my social media. So on Facebook, it's my first and my last name. Um, if it's not on here, I'm just gonna spell out it. So Joscillynn, Joscilynn Stachowiak, Stachowiak. Find that on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Joscilynn Faith, Faith. That's my middle name, underscore fit. And then even on TikTok, you can even find me on TikTok. It's J Faith underscore fit. So I got those three platforms and I'm very active on all three.
Thank you, Jocelyn. This has been amazing. And yes, you filled out the form, so your all of your social medias will be in the show notes for our guests. So I really appreciate you. Do
Okay.
you have any final closing thoughts before we close out?
Um, just appreciation and gratitude. I love this connection that we made. I had a great time. I would love to be on the show again sometime. You were a great host, by the
Thank
way,
you. I appreciate it.
and I'm excited to get that book because I requested it. I want to. Is it more about your productivity strategies and everything in
It
there?
is more about marketing in the real estate industry, and you
Okay.
can apply that to anywhere, but there are some bonus items in there too, and you'll also be getting a newsletter, and you get to see where we're going to put your
Mhm.
stuff in there. So you should be in
Well,
for
I
a treat
definitely
when
want
it
to see more
comes.
of your
Yep.
productivity hacks.
Yeah, I
Like I
love
feel like you have a
productivity. I
lot of
love
them.
to talk about them. Absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you,
Yeah.
Jocelyn. This has been amazing. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you. I'll get everything to you when it's all processed and everything like that. And
Mhm.
then, yeah, looking forward to having you in the future so we can talk more specifically about some of the stuff you offer. And I also know some other clients and some other groups that could really benefit from the services that you offer. So I'm looking forward to making those connections as well.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm looking forward to connecting further.
Thank you so much. I really